Ken Wharfe joins us now. This, I said it a bit earlier on, you get one or two heads of state come to a city like London and it is a massive arrangement in terms of security. We've got hundreds of them here now and we've got millions of Brits and others in the crowd. This is mammoth, Ken.
I mean, this is the biggest police operation, I think, ever in the history of the Metropolitan Police. Of that, there's no people talk about the Queen Mother's funeral, Diana's, and so forth, and Winston Churchill. We have somewhere near over 200 protected people arriving in the capital to be here on this occasion. And the Assistant Commissioner only yesterday said that we're looking at millions plus of people within the capital, and this requires an enormous police resources. We've already had to sort of ask neighbouring counties to draw in. You would have seen here today officers from Somerset, all these other counties around policing it, and so it presents a huge security problem. I think, as I said to you recently or the other day when we were talking, the great thing about the Met Police is that I don't think there's any other city in the world that has ever policed or likely to police an event such as this at all. And we have to look back at our past experiences. Thankfully, there's going to be the odd incursion, which we've witnessed already. But because of the expertise, I'm confident that this will be a success police-wise.
But also, we've seen things like when it's G20s or APEX or all sorts of little global get-togethers that take place. They normally take place maybe on an island if you've got one, a resort if you've got one, but you're doing this in the middle of a living city, a city where free-flowing movement is still happening. The greatest inconvenience are to the poor great black cabs of this town trying to work out which road is going to change each and every day. That layer of complexity adds to everything because you've got not just a bubble, you've got bubbles all over the city. How do you make that work?
Well, don't worry about the black cabs. They make a lot of money out of this. But actually, what's interesting, that's a very good point, but if we look here at Buckingham Palace, the Mall, Westminster Abbey, the Houses of Parliament, this is effectively a secure zone. Very, very few people actually live within this area where this event is taking place. And, we talk about rooftop surveillance and so forth. From past experience, virtually every roof from here to Westminster Abbey and Houses of Parliament will have police snipers on that roof, obviously, for all the right reasons. So because it's a well-tried, trusted event, we can actually not sit back and say, well, fine, we got this mastered. It's just a question of sort of revisiting the old operation orders in the past, the one when the Queen Mother and Diana and so forth, and adding on to that. We always learn from past experiences.
You've got the issue, obviously, and you go back to the days of the troubles of terrorism, and it's got a very modern face, as we saw with the recent tragedies in Britain. There's that to contend with, but there's also maintaining the dignity of a state funeral, just monitoring the crowd, fixated individuals. We noticed when the gun carriage, as we saw on Wednesday, was moving down the Mall, the police were watching the crowd. They were looking at the crowd and they were concerned for anything that might have disrupted the dignity of the occasion. That's an added layer of complexity too.
Well, it is. I mean, like any major event such as this, or even, the Trooping of the Colour, or these other ceremonial events that we have in any one year, there's always a revisiting of that operation order. I mean, the fact that now that the police face inwards was really as a result of the Majesty of the Queen in 1981 that was fired at, thankfully with blanks, when she entered Birdcage Walk for the Trooping of the Colour. So that was a big change in policing. What I've seen this time around, which is actually very effective, that you not only have the police not 10 metres apart, but almost a metre apart, such as the density and concern that we can't allow anyone to come over that barrier, is you have that sort of safe zone in between them and the public. And then behind the public, you're going to have a plainclothes police unit that will walk alongside, as they did recently, the cortege, etc., to look for anyone likely to cause a disturbance. So I think we've learned a lot in the last 10, 15 years.
Ken, thank you very much for the chat. I appreciate it.